paying attention, Will. Everyone relax, Will. This is TOFOP. I'm Charlie Clausen.
I'm Will Anderson. Hello, and thank you for watching.
So that was a very aggressive start to the show, but
It's
Will,
okay.
Will was staring at the floor. What was going on?
I wasn't staring at the floor. I was staring into the bag in which the remaining
Crack that
packs are, and I was just seeing what was still in
This
there.
has been a good run. I know we bulk record, obviously, but it's been a good run. Only one bad one in this collection, just the Tim Tams. Who would have thought the big name brand let down? Not the bespoke, the bespoke muesli one or the little known Alina cookies were good. But it's just Tim Tams and their greed, their lust for a bigger market share.
Yeah. Australian icon too, the Tim Tam. It's a bit disappointing.
You know what's an Australian icon?
What?
Hague's chocolates.
Oh my God. South Australian icon.
Yeah.
But I mean, available
Australia-wide. But as you pointed out, tastes better in South Australia.
I think it's just because you're closer to the source. Or maybe it's just that Hague's is such a good chocolate that I think that maybe you're just like, oh, this is where it's from. And that adds an extra level of excitement.
And then it's that genuine enthusiasm for Hague's Will that snagged us a fucking sponsor.
Is that true?
I probably shouldn't have said fucking sponsor when we're talking about how great it is. But yeah, Hague's
But is
came
that
on
really
board.
true?
Yes.
Because of us.
So this is the timeline. You do the episode.
Yeah.
You talk about the story of it tastes better over the border, how you love them.
I do love them so much. I went to Hague's yesterday. I literally went to Hague's yesterday.
It's just Muji all over again.
The next week, we get a rushed on, Anzac Day. We got to do this. We got to get this promo out.
Yeah.
And I look at it, Hague's.
Yeah.
Holy
I think it's the
system works.
I think
do we know they are connected, or
I
are we
went
just
back.
saying it's a coincidence?
Well,
no, sorry. Sorry, it wasn't Hague's chocolate. It was the Hague sponsor.
Oh, yeah. It's a war crime. Your podcast is a war crime. Could you please sponsor the Hague? We've been playing your podcast to dictators as punishment.
Have you tried the Hague's chocolates?
Did I tell on the podcast that when I was doing one of my crowd work shows in Canberra, there was a person in the audience who was a human rights lawyer at The Hague? Did I tell you this?
Oh no, remind maybe.
Okay, so she was her job was a human rights lawyer at The Hague, and I asked her, because this is what I said: if I was to be convicted of any war crime, a human rights violation, what do you think it would be? She would not answer. Apparently, that's not a funny topic to them.
Oh really? Oh,
I
no gallows humor.
I thought that was a funny riff.
Yeah, I thought that was
what
good.
What do you think
They're
I'm
not
most
joking
likely
about
to do? I know, I would have thought. But
what war crime would
anyway.
I convict you for?
Yeah, what do you think I would be
capable of in a I don't think. I think it would be something. I don't. You're not like you wouldn't get your hands dirty, so I wouldn't think it'd be actually like anything genocidal. But I think it might be more probably the psychological terror. I think I could see you spearheading a kind of program of psychological torture on people.
Yeah.
Under
like
the
jigsaw style.
Well, Nazi experiment style. You know how they would test out sort of certain things on like prisoners.
Just to see if it works.
Just to see if it works. Yeah. Maybe you, instead of like doing your trial shows leading up to the comedy festival, you just get some prisoners and you're like, is there anything in this? Is there anything in this?
I don't think that's a bad idea, honestly. Doing some prison visits to run material.
What do you think of this?
It's literally a captive audience, which is what you want.
So Hague's coming aboard.
Yeah.
I think it was the.
So I'm like, I got to find out.
Yes. If it's is a coincidence,
is this legit?
Is it correlation or causation? Is what we're asking.
I think I think it's the social video got it across the line, because the clip we used, I'm not sure if you saw it, was you drooling at the mention of Hague's.
Oh,
like
that'll end up on Media Watch.
You could not have had a better endorsement of a product. Like, you are talking about how much you love Hague's, and literally you have to wipe your mouth because you're drooling, and that's the whole bit of the clip.
I mean, even right now, my mouth feels better. Just you talking about it.
Get the speculum. We need to open up Will's mouth and see what's going on in there.
I've been having a little break from chocolate, because have you ever had had one of those moments where you ever seen somebody like shelling pistachios and they eat the pistachio and then they'll put the shell to like the side in a little bowl or whatever.
That's exactly how I eat pistachios.
Yeah, but then they get in a rhythm. Like, do you ever get in a rhythm, like you're watching TV or whatever, and then you suddenly just like, you see them just like, without even thinking, they're taking out the thing, they're shelling the thing, they're putting it in their mouth, they're putting the shell aside, they're putting, like, when I watch somebody do that, you're reminded that we are just
apes,
evolved apes, aren't we? Like, and so imagine during the comedy festival, that was me, but with tiny little Easter eggs, because I love a mini Easter egg, and just unwrapping the foil and then just putting it in the mouth, putting the foil aside. Like for an entire month, I basically, anytime I did my laundry, I had to scoop the bottom of the laundry with all the foil that had just dropped out of my pockets and bed sheets and stuff. So I'd been having like a break of a couple of weeks from eating chocolate every day. But it was...
Every day you're eating it?
Oh, during the comedy festival, I was eating chocolate every day, yes. I mean, I think in general, I would eat chocolate every day.
Okay.
But during the comedy festival, I was eating a lot of chocolate every day. Because it was Easter, like it's Easter as well. It's chocolate time. There's so many new varieties of chocolate and interesting things to try. So what had happened was I'd done my Adelaide run where I'd just gone full Hagues every day. 3 different Hagues in Adelaide. I was walking between the 3 of them so that like I could get as much Hagues as possible. Then I've got this Easter period where I'm eating nothing but chocolate. I've had 2 weeks off. Boldly, I did say to myself that maybe for the entirety of Gruen, 12 weeks, that I could go chocolate free. That was my aim. I was like, maybe I could go. I made it 1 week into that before the lure of the greatest chocolates of all time, Hagues, brought me back.
And which one was it? Was it a fruit choc?
So what I had, because I thought I won't get a big, so I went in and I had 2 specialty chocolates, you know, because they have the counter where you can have like the nice. So I had like a coconut. There's like a really lovely sort of coconutty, you know, specialist chocolate, and I had a blood orange sort of chocolate. I think it was.
As you're describing it, there's so much similarity between a high-end chocolatier and a weed store, isn't there? Like the way you're describing strains of chocolate, essentially.
Totally. And well, then the free sample that day was the dark, like little, what do you call the little like flat,
like a button.
Yeah, like the buttons sort of style, and they were the dark chocolate buttons. And I think it was because I hadn't had chocolate for maybe 2 weeks at that point. That dark chocolate button, when it hit my mouth, it honestly felt like I was taking drugs. Like I was like, this is so good. Like I was just like, oh, I feel amazing. I just
Double
feel
dropped.
happier.
One in the tongue, one in the bum.
Suddenly I'm out in the back with a whole packet. But it was, I mean, it's just such good chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they came on board. I mean, there's been a lot of products that have gotten free airtime on this show, but this is
none of them have ever got on board.
No, but maybe it's because they are the first Australian-owned company, and as we know, Aussie.
Yeah, Australians support Australians.
Australians support Australians.
Yeah.
It's one thing we've known for,
Yeah.
is we're not divided at all.
No.
And we all come together over whatever thing we're trying to get behind, whatever chocolate referendum we're trying
I'm
to
going
get
to start a
across the
new
line.
variety show called Hague It's Saturday. And sponsored by Hagues. It's a remake of Hey It's Saturday, but the only difference is everything's made of chocolate.
The thing about the Hagues ad that we read, though, the read we did, it was for Mother's Day.
It was for Mother's Day.
So I'd like to think it was just us that compelled them, but I think Mother's Day probably.
It was probably Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So,
more than it was us.
Oh, you got more info?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, I looked into it and I asked them, was it a coincidence? It was a coincidence. They never
Fuck
heard
off.
It
Absolute
It was a
coincidence.
literally
Of course it was.
a coincidence. They had no idea. So they went, I saw them go in, discover this video after they'd sponsored the show, discover the video, like it.
Yeah, because
now
Hague
they're
started
like-
following me on Instagram.
Now they're trying to send you guys chocolates. Like,
Oh, what? What do you mean?
we're in. This is a coincidence reverse.
Ah.
They're sending you guys chocolates. It's coming.
We did it!
Oh, finally!
See ya. Show's over, everyone. We're done. Oh, that's exciting. That's really exciting.
Oh, man.
When's it coming?
Where's my chocolate?
Where's my chocolate?
Where's my
Charlie,
chocolate?
your ones are coming to Sydney, and
Okay.
I'm going to keep them safe for you until I see you again.
And then could you...
He just winked at Will when he said that.
Then could you please Get someone to go to South Australia, get the good ones, smuggle them across the border to me, please, Mike. That's what I request.
Well, you know what? On that, I was going to save this for the end of the episode when we get to the mail, but someone wrote in today of all days.
Really?
And he wants
I
to...
mean, not today when people are listening.
No, today.
A month ago when you hear.
This weighing in on your Hague's chocolate theory.
Oh, yeah.
This came in from Louise. I'd like to weigh in on Will's recent theory about Hague's chocolate tasting better in Adelaide.
Yeah.
I've never been to Adelaide, so I can't speak to the Hague's example. However, I have been to Ballarat, which is where Mars bars are manufactured. I didn't know
what?
that. Yeah.
Is that why it's Mars Stadium in Ballarat in the football? The Bulldogs play at Mars Stadium.
I've always wondered
in Ballarat, and
We've
I just
joked
was
about
like,
it on Two Guys One Cup.
I was like,
That makes complete
sponsored by
sense.
Mars. I didn't realize the Mars factory was in Ballarat. Mind blown.
I have long held the belief that Mars bars taste better in Ballarat.
Right.
Closer
to the source.
My theory, they don't have to travel, so you're getting the freshest stock. I'll admit, however, when I've voiced this theory to others, I've been mocked, ridiculed, and rarely believed.
Oh my God.
So I just wanted to say to Will, your theory rang true to me.
Oh, you've just reminded me of something.
What?
In my improv show in Melbourne, there was someone in the audience who worked at the Arnott's factory and like literally at the Arnott's factory. And I was like, well, which is your favorite of the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And they gave me I said, but the big question was, which one of them is better fresh off the... Because I said, can you just Can you just go down and like take them off
And can he?
Yes.
Yeah, or her, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was a he.
Yeah.
And you can.
Can
I said,
can her get biscuit?
Can they? So I said, which one tastes best fresh off the
out of the family sorted pack?
out of any of the Arnott's biscuit range, which one do you think? I'll give you a clue.
Shortbread.
No, it's got
Scotch finger.
It's got a coating.
A teddy bear biscuit.
No. No.
Tim Tam strawberries and cream.
No, that doesn't taste good anywhere. It is one that I think we've done in Crack That Pack. We've certainly talked about it a lot. It's a staple. It's one of one of the iconic biscuits. I'll give you a clue. It's a chocolate biscuit.
A chocolate biscuit. Not chocolate teddy bear.
No.
Not TV snack.
No.
Not the sticks one. No.
No, it's none of those ones. This is like a classic chocolate biscuit. One of the Australian icon classic chocolate biscuits. No, not a Tim Tam.
Mint slice.
Mint slice.
Huh.
Apparently, the mint slice is the most delicious hot off the press.
Oh, that's disappointing to you because you don't like a mint biscuit.
Not really, but maybe I'd like it fresh. Maybe if I could go down to the Arnott's factory and just take one off the line.
I imagine that would be too gooey, hot off the press. Maybe that's what makes it good. You know what? Now I'm thinking about it, like a hot, warm, dark chocolate mixed in with that mint. And
I reckon
and a crisp biscuit.
Yeah,
could be good. I'm going to buy
like a
bloody mint
dessert.
slice on the way home, put it in the microwave. She continues. I listen every week. I was very surprised to find myself feeling genuinely thrilled and relieved that you guys have got ads. It's so heartwarming that our listeners are like, oh, our little fellas have done it. Will and Charlie, they finally got themselves a sponsor.
We're like one of those kids who didn't go well at school but got a job. No. And everyone's like, oh, look.
He's pushing trolleys around
Coles. It's a job.
Yeah, you know.
It's got a purpose.
That's right.
He's not living at home anymore. He's still living at home, but he's not.
And so apparently we're playing Deeksy JB Hi-Fi ads as well. So it's keeping it all in the family.
Oh, nice.
So it's really, really good.
Yeah.
She'd like to put in a suggestion for Crack That Pack. Arnott's Tim Tam Jats might be worth a review. I think this whole fucking thing started because of
Tim Tam Jats.
Tim Tam, isn't it? I feel like that's the origins. I brought in...
That's the origins of us absolutely talking about
biscuits
in general. Is it the origins of Crack That Pack? Or is that... Was that a Crack That Pack pre-Crack That Pack? Before it being an official... I don't think we rated it.
Yes. No, we didn't
I don't think it's had a rating.
No, that's right. I know the origin of Crack That Pack because it was impulsive. We're in Melbourne. I think Amy was running things from Sydney and we went to Coles just on an impulse. But I think, yes, the seeds were sown last year. And I've got to admit, I think I stole it from Broden anyway because I heard him talking about on their show about, you've got to try these Tim Tams. And I took 2 to the cinema and ate a whole pack.
Yeah.
on my own.
You cracked that
And
back.
then I felt like I needed to justify it, so I brought it into then the other one into work the next day because I felt so guilty about it. They are still, I think,
it would be worth revisiting though, like for an official Crack That Pack.
Off the top of your head, what would you say? What would you give it?
Probably an A at least. I would have thought.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But I'd
Would you
wonder if
would
it
you
would
rate
be-
it higher
now
than
that? But back then, I wasn't in the biscuit rating business.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have the wide range. I've eaten more different varieties of biscuits in the last year of us doing this Crack That Pack than I had up until that point, I think.
Are you aware that Dave O'Neill and Kitty Flanagan do a similar segment?
Well, they have a
It's a junk
podcast.
food,
It's
a
called
snack.
The Junkies.
Yeah.
So, which is all about any type of
so the
junk
whole
foods.
podcast is dedicated to it.
The whole podcast is called The Junkies.
Okay.
They try any type of
Junk food.
but they will have themed sort of like we're doing chips or we're doing chips from New Zealand or we're doing biscuits or we're doing like cake or whatever it is. But it's junk food and then like chocolate bars or whatever it might be. That's the whole podcast.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Mm.
Because there is a theory that hearing people eat on microphone is entirely unappealing.
On Jimmy Pardo's podcast, Never Not Funny, which of course I talk about all the time and love, they have recently been starting to be sent biscuits, cookies, Oreos, and different flavors from different countries, and they have been trying them live on air. And I'm basically like, this is also Crack That Pack. You guys are doing Crack That Pack as well.
I remember listening to an episode of The Weekly Planet years ago, or maybe not that long ago, but Meso ordered waffles mid-podcast. Do you remember this episode?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Like Uber Eats, and then ate them and rated them on air. And I remember thinking how annoying it was to listen to him eat, but at the same time really wanting waffles. It was an effective marketing strategy. So Hagues, welcome.
Yeah, welcome, Hags.
Your sales are going to boom.
I mean, it is, again, I actually, I'm not sure that I can say this, but this was my previous opinion before we received money from them. In fact, the money had only gone the other way, which was me giving them money up until this point. And I'm pretty sure the amount of money they've given us would not outweigh the amount of money that I have given them. But they have given me the world's most delicious chocolate in return.
Here's something exciting.
Can I just put a call out for Hagues, actually, if they are listening, if they're monitoring this now? There is a yuzu chocolate that I got when I was in Adelaide.
What's yuzu?
It's like a Japanese lemon sort of thing, right? Isn't it yuzu? Like, and
Bless you.
It was a specialist like short run thing.
Okay.
And they have not brought it back. I haven't seen it in any of the shops. Bring it back.
You know what you are? You are the chocolate equivalent of a sneaker pimp. Like you just obsess over chocolates. You love limited run, like limited, like the special signature style chocolates. Like that's what you should do. In fact, like any collector, like a whiskey or a wine collector, you should have like a cool room where you buy one to eat and buy one to keep. And then we could all come visit you and you can take us into you could have the largest private collection of gourmet chocolates in the world. But they wouldn't last, would they?
They wouldn't. That's the problem. Because I'd eat them.
You'd also lose a fortune having to hire an armed guard to keep you away from the chocolate
That's
bowl.
right. Don't tell me what the combination is.
But that's okay because you can still get the credit for it. Like when I went to a whiskey distillery in Edinburgh, did a whiskey tour, and then they showed us the largest private whiskey collection in the world, which is some Brazilian billionaire. But he donated the collection, so he wasn't actually held in his home. It was like, oh, come look at all these amazing whiskies I've collected over the years, rare and exotic whiskies. So you could do that. You'd need some discipline at the start, but then at some point you could donate your collection of amazing chocolates to a museum or some kind of like chocolate factory. In fact, I should start one. We could call it Charlie's Chocolate Factory.
I mean, we've got a Charlie and a Willie. It's
right.
amazing that we have
Oh
really...
my God, 15 years? We've only just realised.
Okay. I think that there is a part of me that if I were to do a travel like food show, like, sometimes celebrity at the end of their career will become, Stanley Tucci's done his travel cooking show. I'm not like a great cook or anything, but what would I travel the world to do? If it was to find the world's best chocolate, I mean,
that sounds like a show you could pitch.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to travel around the world to go and visit
and see all the different techniques.
yeah.
There must be like some
the-
countries where they put stuff in you haven't thought of, seaweed or something like
Yes.
that. That's a good idea. The ABC.
Genuinely,
that
that is a great idea. That's
Yeah.
Because
Can I come?
chocolate.
Can I be on the show?
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll do
Yeah.
it. What about Will and Charlie's chocolate extravaganza?
Yeah. Okay, we'll work on
Around
that.
around the world in 80 bites.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And you could definitely, and maybe get a sponsor on board. Maybe there's
yeah.
a famous Australian.
Oh, yeah, like Hague's Presents.
Hague's Presents.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
The
what
search
when
for
I,
the world's
I mean,
greatest
when I
chocolate.
did Getaway, that's essentially paid for by
Mm.
a tourism company. That's how the show runs now. So it makes sense if Hague's want to pay. I mean, it wouldn't cost a lot, but give us good business class flights, and we'll take our own accommodation.
Do you think that Hague's
I imagine we're just sleeping at Chocolate Factory.
would be on the floor? You're setting up a tent. I'm swimming in the chocolate river.
Chocolate. Mr. Anderson, you're ruining the chocolate. It's good enough for Augustus Gloop. It's good enough for me. I mean, I would be fascinated to know, like, does every culture have chocolate?
Yes.
Is it kind of a delicacy worldwide?
I don't think it is every culture, no.
Like in Japan, do they have chocolate?
I mean, they have chocolate flavored things,
But
it doesn't seem to be as...
And then South America, where there's cocoa beans, like I'm sure you get like amazing chocolate and
Well,
cocaine.
the yuzu peel was a Japanese yuzu peel. It's ground into cocoa butter, mixed with dark chocolate for a refreshingly citrus, lighty floral flavour.
I mean, I highly recommend it.
Does it need another hook besides just like we're going around trying chocolate? Like, is there another?
What about
element
Hague's?
to it?
Hague's, it's chocolate day.
Oh, that's good. I mean, it's better around the world in 80 bites. That's good. Okay, yeah, let's do that. But what about could there be some kind of ticking clock thing, which is like we have to come back and make this chocolate? Like Hague's, here we go. This is how we died. Hague's have deputized us as representatives of Hague's. We are to travel the world and find the best flavors.
See if there's any chocolates that are as good as Hague's.
Yeah, that's right.
And
to steal them.
No.
And steal the IP.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like
where the slugs were.
Slugworths, I was going to say. You put the everlasting gobstomper in your pocket. I'll drink some of that fizzy lifting drink, and we'll fly out of here, Will. Every chocolate factory is just like, guys, that's a movie. Like, no, there is no fizzy lifting drink room. We have no chocolate river. There's no Oompa Loompas.
You keep opening this.
Keep chasing around stuff. Come on, sing a song. Sing a song.
I'll get you going. Oompa, loompa.
That is incredibly racist. I think there's something in this. Mike, reach out to Hague's.
Yeah.
Hague's at no, what did you say? Hague's at Chocolate Day.
Do we take Hague's to the Hague? Maybe that was what we were originally, thinking.
Well,
is like,
get your human rights lawyer.
Get the Hague's at the
clear it.
Hague's.
Okay.
Could we open a Hague's
In the Hague.
at the Hague?
Is there a gift shop at the Hague? Is the Hague still functioning?
I mean, war crimes are still happening, so I assume that the Hague, it's the international.
Who's got appetite for chocolate after a trying a war
I think that's
criminal?
the time you want some chocolate.
Oh,
Cheer yourself up,
Just
you know?
Heard some awful stuff.
Yeah, right?
What I need right now.
Some yuzu dark chocolate.
Chocolate covered in apricots.
That's right. I need a strawberry frog.
Needed some shredded coconut and dark chocolate with a sprinkle of sea salt on top.
I need a Neapolitan fudge. I can name the whole range. Honestly can. A caramel pastille, an orange pastille. There's the dark chocolate. There's the milk chocolate.
Right, save
This
some
is like
for the
me.
next sponsorship, Will.
This
Yeah,
is like
yeah,
me
yeah,
with
hold up.
This is like Forrest Gump. This is like I can. This is going through the types of shrimp.
Hey, this mail, this email came in from Jacobs, directed at you.
Oh yeah.
I just saw Will's improv show, the one with Calliope, spelt the traditional way. Gallipoli? Did you know? What's that word?
The one with
Kal.
Oh yep. Okay. Yep. I know. Yep.
Calliope?
Yeah. There was an older Greek, I'm going to say, or Italian woman,
Right.
who said her name was Calapai, and I said, "Oh, spelt the traditional way, I assume." I,
Right. Oh,
right.
okay.
Yes, that's why
So,
that is that reference.
his question is,
Yeah.
what do you find more enjoyable, rewarding between the improv shows and a written comedy festival show?
The improv shows have been the most rewarding artistic experience that I've ever had in my entire life. And it feels like I am only in the learning how to do it period at the moment. I did 57 different shows in a row, basically, on the first part of the tour. And even in like the last part of it, which was the Melbourne part, like 1 month in the same room every night, I could, for the first time ever, genuinely feel it must be what I've never been enough of a gym person to be, or a athlete to be able to go, I used to be able to run this fast or lift this much, but now I can lift this much and I can really see how my body or whatever has improved. I felt my brain grow. Like I felt my capacity to be able to, like that was quite early in the run, I from memory. By the end of the run, there were times within it where I was doing some stuff that was some of the more rewarding comedy that I have like ever done in my entire life. There was one night in the Melbourne run where there was a woman who worked in infectious diseases, animal to human infectious diseases, which has obviously been a
She came out
pretty,
from Wuhan.
I was going to say, pretty big topic, and living in Melbourne, a pretty controversial topic. And I said, can you explain bird flu? How worried should we be about bird flu? And she goes, I don't think anybody wants to hear about this in here. And I was like, no, seriously, like, I would love to. I'll make it funny. You explain, we'll have some fun and do it. Probably took about 15 minutes for her to fully explain it with me butting in and making it funny. It was like doing a mini dollop, basically,
Right.
but with an expert giving me the information that I need to know. And at the end of it, not only I had such a good time, but I really
you learned
genuinely felt
something.
like I knew,
Yeah.
understood bird flu, and there was 130 people in the room who understood it as well. To have that opportunity to create something that is just, it felt like the MasterChef version of what's in the cupboard, what can I make out of this? And then your skill at being able to take those random ingredients and combine them into something that was satisfying. It was incredible. I loved it so much. I can't wait to get to do it again. It's the first time ever in the history of the comedy festival, if they've said at the end of it, there's been a clerical mistake, we need you to do another month, that I would have said, I need about 3 days off, but I reckon I could start again if
Yeah,
I had
cool.
3 days off. It was, the best. Thank you to everyone who came out to support the shows. There's more of them happening. There's more Sydney shows. There's Brisbane, Newcastle, a whole bunch of other places as well. Tassie, I'm coming to Tassie.
Have you've seen that Gary Shandling documentary, the Gary Shandling Diaries? Have you seen that?
The one that
Judd Apatow
yes,
produced.
I have, yes.
And like it's an amazing documentary, two-parter. And the journey he goes on from being like a comedy writer to a stand-up to sort of a TV sitcom actor, and his pursuit of what is the art form of comedy, and this is through his journals. And then he ends up at this point where I believe at the end of his career, he was no longer writing material. He was just getting on stage and challenging himself to be comfortable in his skin and on stage and just talking. To him, that is what the performance was about. And it was so interesting because when you started doing these improvised live shows, I was like, oh, well, maybe that'll be a short run, or it's just something that you're doing to kind of keep the blade sharp or whatever. But the more you talk about it and the more I hear you talk about it, the more I'm seeing the parallels, which is like, this is a different form of performance and one that is definitely more challenging and the risk is higher, but the rewards are also
much higher.
Much higher.
So much fun to do. So much fun to learn how to do, to be, but also just like that sense of good, bad, or indifferent, however the show went. That's how the show went, and it's gone. You could have the best show that you've ever had in your entire life, and a few times on the tour, I really did feel like that was the case, but it's still gone as well. Like you can't go tomorrow night and try to replicate what happened the night before, because you've got to actually work with what you've got that night. But as you said about that Gary Shandling thing, one night, it was 5 minutes to go before stage, and speaking of like turning into the world's oldest man, but I started, do you know Werther's Original?
Yes.
Like,
the lozenge.
Yeah. So I was just like, I would often, before the show would start, I would have like a Werther's Original just as like a little sweet treat, but just to keep my like vocal cords, etc. One night, I thought that I could have a glass of water and still have the Werther's Original in my mouth,
Tucked in your cheek.
which I made a very big mistake, Charlie, because it turns out I can't do that. And then immediately a whole one just like went straight down and like went like it was like Andy Dufresne out of Shawshank Prison, just like went like down and it was gone. And so this is 5 minutes before I'm about to go on stage. And of course, I'm not too panicky because I mean, it's food.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it dissolves. It doesn't have sharp edges, but you're about to go on stage. So you're wondering, am I going to choke on this? Is this going to come back up? Like, whatever it is. I found myself backstage, like jumping up and down,
Trying to mix it up
in my
stomach acid.
This is 5 minutes before I went on stage.
Yeah.
I went on stage. I started by talking about what had just happened. It took 15 minutes for me to tell the story of something that had happened 5 minutes before. So in that period of time, a 5-minute thing had already turned into 15 minutes because the audience and me telling it and the recreation of it. And it was just such a simple thing, right? Just this moment that had happened and then me heightening the stakes or talking about what I'd done and etc. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, that's such an amazing feeling to have something happen and then be able to immediately react to it and make it feel like, it felt like material coming out. Like, there were just so many punchlines, so many different angles on it. And yeah, it was incredible.
Do you think it relates to the authenticity? Like, the only thing I can relate it to is acting, obviously, when you feel like you're really in the moment and you feel very connected to the material or the person you're working with or whatever. Or on this show, like, we often, you know, we try and be funny, we make jokes, whatever. But I think some of my favorite episodes of this is when we've really sort of got into an honest topic, or we've really sort of delved deep into how we feel about something or thoughts on something. And I think there is something to be said for, like, honesty is engaging, because if it's authentic, if it's authentically your perspective or authentically your reaction to a situation, then no one else has had that experience but you. And so it's immediately everyone can talk about how beautiful a sunset is or a sunrise or you know, listening to a song, whatever, but only you have choked on a fucking Werther's Original 5 minutes before going on stage. So of course that's going to be fascinating.
You don't have time to pretend. And when you get rid of that, what you realize is that you have different perspectives on things as well. Like, some of the things that if you were writing something or constructing something, you would build up an attitude or a persona. Whereas if you are reacting, the thing that I almost had to tell people about was like, I think when I first started doing these improv shows, they were much roastier. Whereas now they're barely ever roasty. In fact, I hate when anything becomes, it's crowd work, but none of it's roasty crowd work.
Right.
It's all, you know, and the sort of people that you would avoid if you were roasting someone in a wheelchair, someone with an obvious disability, someone who's non-binary or whatever it might be, where you might not, if you were going to do a roasty thing, you'd be like, well, this is like, because I wasn't doing roasty comedy, it was collaborative, I hope, most of the time. I certainly didn't get any complaints for the entire run, which was amazing. There was one guy I roasted really badly, but I kind of felt like he had brought it upon himself, yes. And so, and I think even he kind of was like...
I was asking for it.
Fair enough. But in general, like, what that taught me also was there's a different way. And the more that I was like being my authentic self, the more I was like, oh, this isn't where. And so then when you would want to tease or you needed to, like, it was always like, it felt much more teasy than roasty. I mean, that idea of who you think you are versus having the opportunity to find out actually who you are when you don't have time to construct a reaction, you just have time. Because the kind of my attitude with the shows is react, then justify. React, then examine.
Yeah.
What's your immediate reaction to this? And then examine your reaction. But don't try to come up with your reaction and then say what you think.
And that takes a lot of courage, because it's like, what if my reaction, if it's embarrassing, and then you've got to deconstruct it. But I think that's the thing that makes it so
But that's the fun of it
compelling.
As well. Because if you're willing to put away your ego to go, this is the show. Whatever this is the show.
I mean, that same Shandling documentary, there's this fascinating scene where he and Jerry Seinfeld are talking, and Jerry's has no respect for actors, very dismissive of acting as a profession, because he's like, they don't write their own material.
Yeah.
They're directed by someone else. They wear clothes that someone else's. So tell me, they're just a cipher for other people's creativity. And Gary Shandling is arguing from the point of view of, well, no, to be completely vulnerable and emotionally open and to sort of take words that other people have written, but someone's got to communicate that. And if an actor is doing their job really well, is they are going to do that whether or not they look ridiculous or amazing or whatever. They're not trying to control the outcome, or they shouldn't be trying to control the outcome. They're trying to be as honest to the text as possible in the moment. And I'd never really sort of thought about it like that, but that's kind of, those performances that you see that really stick with you are generally because they feel like they've come from a place that you would not have anticipated. Like you see Daniel Day-Lewis do that voice in I Drink Your Milkshake. What's that film called?
There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood. Like that film starts and you're like, what is this? The voice, the characterization of it. But then it just becomes something. And it's like, well, he's 100% engaged in that. Like that is not artifice, or I'm going to be a villain or whatever. It's like he's just created this thing. He's using his voice and his body as an instrument to convey whatever it is that the text is telling him to do.
There is also something about being in the moment and people understanding it's the moment that allows you to, so I would often react, and then maybe like sometimes my next bit will be about what my reaction was or how I said it, or I will say something in a way and I'll be like, oh, yep, I heard that too. I don't like how that sounded. And then talk about that, and I think that idea of everyone heard it, everyone understands what it's like to misspeak. There is something different to that. I think one of the reasons I've never been able to be an actor is that I can't do what you've just described. I can't take what somebody else said or did and then try to interpret it or understand it. But the thing that perhaps is most interesting to me is that I think maybe I've also been acting being me.
100%.
And I think that there is a way forward where I could be less acting being me and just be me. Just be funny. Just trust that you will be able to be funny. And look, the confidence that being able to do it so many times and do it to it, like I don't think any of them didn't work. There were a couple of nights where there was one night in Adelaide and there was there was kind of like one night early in Melbourne where I was like, I didn't love that night, but I think most of it, I really genuinely was like, every single show, there was something that I thought was really of great value.
That's great. It's exciting. I think it's really cool. I mean, if you're committed to like doing as much stand-up as you can in the next 10 years or whatever you're saying, like this is a great way to go.
Yeah, this feels like definitely, like I was like, I had sort of, I said this to the audience a couple of times. I said, thank you for coming because I hoped I could do this, but I didn't know. And I certainly didn't know if I could do it 57 times in a row. And the fact that people believed that I could and came along and supported it was huge as well.
That's awesome. Do a couple more letters and then I think we'll crack that pack. Mm-hmm. We talked about The Rapture a few weeks ago, the Rapture musical, our hip-hop Jesus musical. It's really inspired some people. Scott has written in, just a little something on your theoretical stage play movie. I didn't like the Keanu role because I think we had Keanu as Jesus or the devil. I can't remember. Because I think you guys both missed a big swing. If either of you watch the Omen movies, Keanu would be the Gregory Peck character in the first movie, and the ultimate villain would be the character based on Baron Trump. I see what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
In your suggested stage play, I'd go for Willem Dafoe or Christopher Walken. But I think what we're trying to do is cast against type.
Yeah.
They're obvious villain guys.
Yeah, they're the villain.
You eliminated a Donnie character early, which was good, but just look at the photos of Baron Trump. He screams Damien. That kid creeps the fuck out of me. I would have it as an intergenerational thing like The Omen, where the dictatorial leader ends up having his place taken by an even more evil child. Yeah, probably. I mean, look, by the time this musical gets made, hopefully, that's in the rear view. On The Rapture, Eliza, who was heavily involved in the live stream last week, because her profile photo on Patreon is like a teenage girl singing, and I was like, "Is this you now? Are you a teenage fan of?" And she's like, "No, that's a photo from when I was at high school." But she's a musical theatre graduate, so she's written a critique, I guess. Hey, fellas. It's my first time writing into the show. I was very interested in your Rapture musical rock opera idea. I have a degree in musical theatre, so it's maybe the only thing I'm actually qualified to have an opinion on. And I have a proposal for you. Andrew Lloyd Webber, who obviously composed Jesus Christ Superstar, had a string of TV shows in the late 2000s, early 2010s that were used to cast various leads of his shows, i.e. How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria for The Sound of Music, Any Dream Will Do for Joseph and his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and for the 2012 arena tour of Jesus Christ Superstar, in which Tim Minchin famously played Judas. Their show to cast Jesus was also called Superstar. As much as I love Doechii, I think you guys could use a casting show like this to great effect to cast your Jesus Antichrist, Jesus and Antichrist, whoever you like, really. So that begs the question, who hosts and who are your judging panels? Well, musical theatre, we need something like a Todd McKenney, I guess.
Eddie Perfect.
Oh, yeah, Tim Minchin.
Tim Minchin.
Would be.
What about like female?
Female, Marina Pryor.
Lucy Durack.
Yeah, Christy Whelan Brown does quite a bit
Who's
of
the
musical
heel?
theatre.
Oh, yeah, you need it. Like, well, Todd McKenney, but he's already been there heel in other things.
The Red Simon.
What about Anthony Warlow or somebody like that?
Oh, he's the most
He's so
lovable.
nice.
Yeah.
Isn't he? That's the problem, yeah.
Who would be the hanging judge?
What about Millsy?
Oh, yeah.
Millsy's done a lot of... I mean, Millsy might be a good host.
In these shows, there's also a stupidly camp send-off to whoever is eliminated. For example, in the Wizard of Oz version, I didn't realize this is a franchise.
No,
it's so obvious, though.
Yeah.
The remaining contestants sang a song to the eliminated girl while she absolutely sobbed, and then took her shoes off. After which said girl climbed onto a hanging crescent moon and sang a verse somewhere over the rainbow as she was carried away.
That's not true. That's the best.
So I'd love to know what sort of outlandish elimination ritual would be
we nailed them
appropriate
to the
for
cross.
Lower them into the fiery pits of hell. Also, on a separate note, the plot of your musical does sound suspiciously like the Terry Pratchett, Neil Gaiman books, Good Omens.
Yeah,
of which there is already a musical.
You mean the Terry Pratchett books?
Oh, yeah. Who's the other guy?
I don't even know if there was
Erased from history, I believe.
Terry Pratchett, who died a hero, did not live long enough to see himself become the villain.
All right. Let's crack that pack.
Yep, all right.
Will, hit that sting.
Crack that pack.
So we're going
Now,
to
you have a
double
choice.
header?
Well, we can do a double header. Do you want to do a double header? Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, I'll make they.
Arnott's Venetians. Old school.
Raisin.
One of the weirdest biscuits of all time.
So
the
weird.
Arnott's Venetian.
My memories of this are grandma. These are grandma
What are your
biscuits.
memories? Grandma biscuits.
Grandma biscuits.
Exactly. Get a
Stale.
grandma biscuit
gross.
into
I'm
you.
not going to
Let's
like
see
it.
how it's going to go. Oh, I imagine
These
you're
are
probably
good.
not going to like
These
it.
are good. ST.
What do you think?
Not as bad as I remember. Fine. I don't like it's a slimy. The icing feels slimy.
A little slimy, but I don't mind it. What would you say? Give it a...
It's so weird because I love an oat and raisin biscuit, but I don't like it in this context.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes like it feels like there's a fly in
I'm
my
going to say
biscuit.
C minus,
Yeah,
maybe
C.
even.
See,
Okay.
what do we got? Well, this
All right.
looks exciting.
This is a specialty biscuit.
Both
This is
bespoke.
a Anzac chocolate
Oh,
special. I mean, it was more topical.
mate.
It was more topical when... It was more topical when I bought it. It was
You
quite...
haven't
quite-
been hanging on to this since Anzac Day.
I've been hanging on to
Have you
this
seriously?
since Anzac Day.
No, you haven't.
Years ago.
Are
A
you
month
allowed
ago.
to put? No, hang on. Didn't we do a whole episode about there's only certain ingredients you can put in an Anzac cookie, otherwise you go to jail?
Yeah, I believe that Anzac is the...
No, you can't call it cookie.
Oh,
That was the
shit.
thing.
I'm going
You're
to
gonna get
jail.
fined.
Anzac is the small ingredient in this. This is the biggest
Okay.
ingredient is kind of, it's a chocolate cookie.
Yeah, it doesn't
But
look
the
very
Anzac is...
Anzac-y at
The
all.
Anzac's just been like sprinkled in, I think, just as
Oh.
a bit of a... So, what do you think of that? Not getting a huge reaction from
No.
Charlie, to be honest.
I don't think much of this, I'm afraid. It's fine. But for a gourmet cookie,
No.
it's a bit fudgy.
Yeah.
And there's a really overpowering, I don't know what it's...
Perfumey.
Yeah, is that nutmeg or something?
Yeah. Whatever it is, I don't like it.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yuck.
It's just bloody...
Gotta
That's
go back to the Venetian.
that is the biggest insult to the Anzacs possible. How dare you dishonor our fighting war heroes by sprinkling Anzac biscuit on this?
You know what? I'm even going to take back the fact that that had anything to do with the Anzacs. I don't think we should be like the
Besmirching.
the good name of the Anzacs by associating them with what is, and that one is like a
Expensive.
Yeah, that's
It's
like
like
an
a $8 cookie.
Yeah, $8. I would have said minimum at fancy cookie place. I did go with the topical one because I thought that it was
This trend in cookies now to be really lumpy.
lumpy,
thick
and
in the middle.
Yeah,
don't like it either. It's not a cake, mate.
No,
It's a cookie.
yeah, I did not like that.
And as
at
you
all.
know, I do it all for the cookie.
yeah, the what?
The cookie.
Oh,
So you can take that. No, hang on.
Cookie?
Fuck that up.
that also that cookie.
You can also take that cookie.
Yeah, and that other cookie. You can take this cookie.
Thank you for sticking with us, everyone. 4 wonderful episodes.
Nothing but quality.
Nothing but quality, high quality content. We watched YouTube videos in one episode. We ate 2 packs of biscuits in this one. It's been a real fucking shit show. But we love doing it. And the best way to support the show is, of course, Patreon. Patreon.com/everyone relax. Heaps of great bonus content there. Ad-free episodes, full videos, the lot. Will, what's going on with you?
I'm on tour, comedy.com.au.
Come watch Will improvise. See, Will is entering his Crystalus period. He's emerging from the cocoon, a new performer.
I actually do feel like that might be the case.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Get on
I
board.
do.
He's in the cocoon right now. Come look.
I feel like
Put that on the poster. He's in the cocoon. Come look.
all right.
And that's how we finish with a whimper. I'm Charlie Clausen.
Well,